Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin with an uncomfortable thought. What does it mean to be truly rare? And more specifically, what does it mean to be the rarest woman in the world? Independence and strength are two of the most critical qualities that define the rarest woman in the world. To understand these traits fully, one must first appreciate that true independence is not merely the absence of dependency, but a profound sense of self-sufficiency, a state in which a woman does not need others to dictate her worth, her path, or her decisions. This is not about isolation or avoidance of human connection, but about the internal fortitude to define her own life according to her terms, not according to the whims and demands of others. Independence, in this context, begins with a woman's relationship to herself. The rarest woman knows who she is not in a shallow or superficial sense, but in a deep, introspective way. She has taken the time to understand her values, her beliefs, and her passions. She is clear about what she wants and why she wants it. This clarity comes not from the validation of others, but from an internal compass that guides her through life. It's this self-awareness that provides the foundation for her independence. Without it, independence becomes a hollow ideal, a notion that cannot stand up to the pressures and challenges that life inevitably presents. This self-sufficiency is not about rejecting the help or support of others. It's about not needing that support in order to be complete. A woman who is independent in the truest sense of the word does not find her identity through her relationships or the approval of others. She does not bend to the pressures of society or the expectations of those around her. She is not defined by the roles that are imposed upon her, whether they be as a daughter, a wife, a mother, or a career woman. These roles, while important, are not her essence. Her essence is rooted in something deeper, something unshakable. The rarest woman also embodies strength, not the kind of strength that comes from brute force or physical dominance, but a more profound and enduring strength that emerges from within. This strength manifests in resilience, in the ability to withstand hardship without breaking, in the ability to face adversity without losing her sense of self. The strength of the rarest woman is not loud or boastful, but quiet, steadfast, and unyielding. It is the strength that allows her to walk her own path, regardless of how difficult that path may be. Strength is often misunderstood in our society. It is frequently equated with power or aggression, with an outward display of dominance. But true strength, the kind that defines the rarest woman, is much subtler. It is the strength to be vulnerable when necessary, to ask for help when needed, and to admit when she is wrong. This strength comes from an understanding that vulnerability does not equal weakness. In fact, vulnerability can be one of the most powerful expressions of inner strength. The rarest woman understands that she does not need to hide behind a facade of invulnerability to prove her worth. Instead, she recognizes that real power lies in her ability to stay true to herself, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it would be easier to conform or to hide. The strength of the rarest woman is also evident in her capacity for emotional regulation. She is not swayed by every passing emotional storm, nor does she allow her emotions to dictate her actions. Instead, she has cultivated the ability to feel deeply yet remain grounded in her values. She does not allow her emotions to control her life. Rather, she uses her emotions as tools for growth, reflection, and understanding. In this way, her strength is not a force that forces others to submit, but a calm and steady presence that allows her to navigate the complexities of life with grace and integrity. True strength requires the courage to act in alignment with one's values, even when the world around her is telling her to do otherwise. The rarest woman knows that independence and strength are not only about standing alone when necessary, but about standing for something meaningful. It requires the courage to speak the truth even when it is uncomfortable, and to face the consequences of those truths. It requires the strength to be unpopular, to challenge the status quo, and to stand firm in one's beliefs when society or even close friends and family may not understand. This type of strength is not flashy. It is not about seeking recognition or applause. It is about doing what is right because it is right, not because it is easy. True independence and strength also come with an understanding of one's limitations. The rarest woman is strong enough to admit when she does not know something, and wise enough to seek the knowledge or guidance she needs. Independence is not about knowing everything or doing everything on one's own, rather, it is about having the confidence to ask questions, seek help, and learn from others while remaining true to oneself. It is about being self-sufficient in spirit and mind, but not isolated in a way that cuts off opportunities for growth or connection. The rarest woman does not rely on external validation to reinforce her sense of worth. She does not seek approval because she knows her value is inherent. She has cultivated a deep, unwavering sense of self that does not depend on others to define her. In a world that often pressures women to seek validation through appearance, relationship status, or external success, the rarest woman understands that her worth is intrinsic. This sense of self-worth is the foundation of her independence. It is the core of her strength. Independence and strength in this context are not about defiance or rebellion for the sake of rebellion. They are about the courage to be oneself in a world that constantly tries to shape individuals into something they are not. The rarest woman stands tall because she knows who she is, because she has the strength to stay true to that knowledge, and because she is willing to walk a path that may be difficult but is deeply authentic to her. It is this independence and strength that make her rare, not because she is immune to the challenges of life, but because she faces those challenges with a fierce, unwavering resolve that cannot be easily shaken. Authenticity and integrity are among the most valuable and defining qualities of the rarest woman in the world. In a society that often rewards conformity, where external expectations and pressures shape much of how people present themselves, these qualities shine brightly as a beacon of truth. The rarest woman is authentic not because she seeks validation through her actions, but because she has learned to align her external world with her internal self. She is not merely who she appears to be, she is who she truly is, in every moment, without the need for pretense. To be authentic is to be in alignment with one's deepest sense of self. It's a state in which a woman's actions, thoughts, and beliefs are congruent with who she really is. The rarest woman does not wear a mask to meet the expectations of others, nor does she bend herself into a shape that she believes will be more acceptable or easier to digest. She does not alter her voice, her passions, or her values to fit into a mold that society has created for her. Instead, she expresses herself freely, without fear of judgment, because she has cultivated a strong sense of who she is and what she stands for. This authenticity is not something that is easily attained. It requires a deep commitment to self-reflection, to understanding the complexities of one's own psyche, and to confronting the truths that may be uncomfortable or difficult to accept. The rarest woman has spent time understanding herself not through the lens of others' opinions or through societal standards, but through an honest evaluation of her own values, experiences, and desires. She has faced the uncomfortable questions: what do I truly want? What is important to me? How do I want to contribute to the world? And most importantly, she has learned to embrace her own answers, even if they deviate from the mainstream or what is expected of her. Authenticity requires courage. The rarest woman understands that to be true to herself often means standing apart from the crowd. It means saying no when everyone else says yes, and saying yes when the world urges her to say no. It's the courage to act on her own beliefs, even when those actions are unpopular or go against the grain. She does not choose authenticity because it is easy. She chooses it because it is the only path that allows her to live in alignment with her deepest truths. And in doing so, she is able to build a life that is truly her own, shaped not by external forces, but by the inner conviction that comes from being fully oneself. Integrity, on the other hand, is the counterpart to authenticity. Integrity is about doing what is right, even when no one is watching. It's the commitment to act in accordance with one's principles and values, regardless of the external consequences. For the rarest woman, integrity is a matter of aligning her actions with her beliefs and not allowing the external world to dictate those actions. Her decisions, her words, and her behavior all reflect the core values she holds within. Integrity is not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's the ability to stay true to one's ethical standards and moral compass, even when it might be easier to compromise or cut corners. When authenticity and integrity work in harmony, they create a powerful force. The rarest woman lives with a profound sense of inner cohesion. She is not torn between the person she is in private and the person she presents to the world. Her integrity ensures that her actions reflect her authentic self, and her authenticity provides the framework for the integrity that governs her behavior. There is no division between her inner and outer worlds, no sense of conflict between who she is and how she lives. This alignment brings a sense of peace and wholeness, and it gives her the strength to navigate the complexities of life with clarity and confidence. Integrity also demands that the rarest woman be accountable for her actions. She does not hide behind excuses or blame others when things go wrong. Instead, she takes responsibility for her mistakes, acknowledges her shortcomings, and works to rectify them. This level of accountability is essential to maintaining her integrity because it demonstrates that she is not only willing to stand by her actions, but is also willing to learn from them. It is this commitment to self-awareness and growth that further solidifies her authenticity. She knows that to be truly authentic is not to be static, but to continually evolve and adapt, while maintaining the core principles that define her. The rarest woman's integrity also extends to her relationships with others. She does not manipulate or deceive. Instead, she speaks the truth, even when the truth is difficult to say. She does not play games or engage in dishonesty for personal gain. Her interactions with others are grounded in mutual respect, trust, and transparency. She values honesty above all else, and she treats others with the same level of authenticity that she demands of herself. In her relationships, she is unwaveringly true to her values, refusing to compromise them for the sake of convenience or approval. But authenticity and integrity are not without their challenges. The world can be a harsh place for those who live authentically and act with integrity. The rarest woman is often met with resistance, whether it comes from societal expectations, family pressures, or the desires of those who want her to conform. Living with integrity requires a level of bravery that not everyone possesses, as it often means going against the grain, speaking uncomfortable truths, and facing backlash for not conforming to the status quo. Yet, it is precisely these challenges that highlight the power of authenticity and integrity. For the rarest woman, it is not the easy path she chooses, but the one that allows her to remain true to herself. She faces the world with a quiet, unwavering confidence because she knows that to live with authenticity and integrity is to live in alignment with the highest version of herself. There are no shortcuts to authenticity. There are no shortcuts to integrity. Both are forged over time through conscious choices and deliberate actions. The rarest woman knows this, and it is why she is rare. In a world full of distractions, noise, and the constant pressure to be something other than what one truly is, she remains steadfast in her commitment to herself. The courage to stand alone is one of the defining characteristics of the rarest woman in the world. It is not simply the ability to exist in solitude, but rather the ability to make decisions and take actions that are in alignment with one's values, regardless of whether those decisions are popular or accepted by others. This courage is not born of a desire for isolation or detachment, but from a profound understanding that standing firm in one's beliefs often means standing apart from the crowd, even when that crowd is pressing in with expectations, demands, or judgments. Standing alone is, in many ways, an act of defiance not against others, but against the pressure to conform. Society, from the family unit to the broader cultural framework, often imposes certain norms, roles, and expectations on individuals. These external pressures shape what is seen as acceptable, desirable, or worthy. For the rarest woman, the courage to stand alone means resisting the urge to bend to these pressures in order to satisfy others' desires or fulfill the roles others have defined for her. She does not need validation from the crowd to affirm her identity. She is unshaken by the force of external judgment because her confidence is derived from something far deeper than the fleeting approval of others. Her sense of self is not contingent on the whims of others. It is grounded in her own beliefs, her values, and her understanding of what is right. The courage to stand alone requires a strength of character that few possess. It is an internal strength that is not always visible to the outside world, but is nonetheless unshakable. This courage does not come from a place of arrogance or defiance for the sake of being different, rather. It comes from a deep-rooted understanding that personal integrity and authenticity are worth more than the comfort of belonging to a group or community that asks her to compromise her true self. The rarest woman understands that to be true to herself is to often walk a lonely road, and yet she willingly embraces this path because she knows that it is the only way to live a life of meaning and purpose. Standing alone is a practice of embracing discomfort. It is not an easy choice, nor is it a choice for the faint of heart. The rarest woman faces isolation and loneliness, not because she seeks it, but because she chooses the authenticity of her own identity over the safety of conformity. She understands that growth, both personal and spiritual, often requires stepping away from the herd, away from the familiar, the comfortable, and the accepted. She is not deterred by the loneliness that may come from standing alone because she knows that solitude can be a fertile ground for self-discovery, reflection, and strength. It is important to note that standing alone does not imply a rejection of all human connection. The rarest woman does not cut herself off from others out of bitterness or disdain. Rather, it means that she refuses to compromise her core values, beliefs, and identity to gain the approval of those around her. She may have close relationships, but these relationships are built on mutual respect for each other's individuality. She does not seek to please others in order to feel validated or worthy. The rarest woman values authenticity in others, and because she is willing to stand alone, she is often the one who attracts others who also value truth and integrity. These relationships are not born out of convenience or a need for external validation, but are genuine, rooted in mutual understanding and respect for one another's independence. The courage to stand alone is also reflected in the way the rarest woman makes decisions. She does not seek consensus or approval before making choices. She does not wait for permission to take action or to pursue her goals. She is guided by an internal compass that tells her what is right and what is necessary. In many cases, her decisions will not be understood by those around her. She may face criticism, rejection, or even scorn for following her own path, but the rarest woman remains resolute. She knows that the true measure of her life will not be determined by how many people agree with her decisions or how many friends she has, but by her ability to remain faithful to her own values and vision. She trusts in her judgment, knowing that even when she faces the consequences of her choices, she will not be living in regret because she acted in accordance with her deepest truths. There is also a spiritual dimension to the courage to stand alone. The rarest woman's decision to stand alone often involves embracing uncertainty. She may not always know what the future holds, nor does she rely on external validation to feel secure in her decisions. Instead, she cultivates an inner resilience that allows her to face the unknown with confidence. She trusts that, even in the face of uncertainty, her commitment to authenticity will provide her with the guidance and strength needed to navigate whatever comes her way. She understands that true growth comes not from following a prescribed path, but from venturing into the unknown with the courage to trust herself. Standing alone also involves an openness to change. The rarest woman is not so rigid in her beliefs that she is unwilling to change when she learns something new or when she encounters new perspectives. She is willing to stand alone when necessary, but she is not afraid to evolve as she gains new insights or experiences. This willingness to change, however, does not mean she abandons her core values. It means that she is open to growth, to deepening her understanding, and to becoming more attuned to the nuances of life and her own existence. In this sense, her courage to stand alone is not a static choice, but a dynamic and evolving journey. The courage to stand alone is about reclaiming one's personal sovereignty. It is the act of choosing to live for oneself, not as a reaction to others, but as an active decision to live authentically and purposefully. It is about refusing to allow others to define your life or dictate your choices, and instead making decisions based on your own principles, your own values, and your own vision for your life. This courage is not easily attained, nor is it always comfortable, but it is a hallmark of the rarest woman, because it is in standing alone that she finds the true freedom to live as her authentic self. Wisdom is often misunderstood as simply knowledge or information, but true wisdom goes far beyond the mere accumulation of facts. It is the ability to discern, to make judgments based not only on what one knows, but also on a deep understanding of human nature, the complexities of life, and the interconnectedness of all things. The rarest woman nurtures wisdom not just by reading books or engaging in intellectual pursuits, but by cultivating a mindset and heart that seeks to understand the deeper truths of existence. It is a lifelong process, one that involves both intellectual growth and emotional maturity, and requires a balance of humility, patience, and inner reflection. To nurture wisdom, the rarest woman must first cultivate a deep sense of self-awareness. Wisdom begins with an understanding of oneself, knowing one's strengths, weaknesses, values, and biases. The rarest woman does not act out of impulse or ego, but takes the time to reflect on her actions and thoughts. She understands that wisdom is not about knowing everything, but about understanding the limits of her own knowledge and being open to learning and growth. Self-awareness provides the foundation for wisdom because it allows her to recognize when her actions align with her values and when they deviate from them. She can discern the moments when she is acting out of fear or insecurity, and the moments when she is acting out of love, compassion, and clarity. This awareness becomes the guiding compass that allows her to navigate the complexities of life with grace. Nurturing wisdom also requires a deep capacity for empathy and compassion. The rarest woman understands that wisdom is not just an intellectual endeavor, it is intimately connected to her relationships with others. She knows that true wisdom comes from listening, understanding, and connecting with people, particularly those who are different from herself. She seeks to understand the experiences, struggles, and perspectives of others without judgment or assumption. She does not approach people from a place of superiority, but from a place of shared humanity. In this way, she deepens her own understanding of life by acknowledging the richness of others' experiences. She learns as much from the people she encounters as from the books she reads or the lessons she teaches. Wisdom for her is not a solitary pursuit, but a relational one, enriched by the diversity of human experiences. Another key element in nurturing wisdom is the cultivation of patience. Wisdom cannot be rushed. It is the result of years of experiences, both joyful and painful, and the ability to reflect upon them deeply. The rarest woman understands that wisdom is not a destination but a journey. She is patient with herself, knowing that it takes time to fully integrate life's lessons and insights. She is also patient with others, understanding that each person's path to wisdom is different, and that growth often takes longer than one might expect. She does not seek instant answers or quick fixes. Instead, she embraces the unfolding of life, trusting that the wisdom she seeks will come in its own time, as long as she remains open and receptive to it. This patience is also rooted in a profound acceptance of uncertainty. The rarest woman understands that wisdom involves embracing the unknown, rather than seeking certainty in every situation. She recognizes that life is filled with ambiguity, and that not all answers are immediately clear. Rather than striving for control or perfect clarity, she learns to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty. She is not paralyzed by the unknown, but rather uses it as an opportunity for growth and discovery. She knows that wisdom often comes not from having all the answers, but from being able to navigate life with grace, even when the path ahead is unclear. The rarest woman also nurtures wisdom by learning from failure. She does not see failure as something to be feared or avoided, but as an essential part of the learning process. When things don't go as planned, she does not turn away in shame or disappointment. Instead, she looks at failure as an opportunity to grow, to understand what went wrong, and to make better decisions in the future. This ability to learn from failure is a hallmark of wisdom because it demonstrates humility and an openness to growth. The rarest woman understands that mistakes are not a reflection of her worth, but a natural part of the human experience, and that each failure offers a valuable lesson if one is willing to learn from it. In addition to patience and empathy, nurturing wisdom requires the ability to practice discernment. Wisdom is not simply knowing what is right, but understanding when and how to act upon that knowledge. The rarest woman does not rush into decisions without considering all the factors at play. She takes the time to weigh the consequences of her actions, to reflect on the potential outcomes, and to listen to her intuition. She knows that making wise decisions requires more than intellectual understanding. It requires a deep sensitivity to the nuances of the situation and the long-term impact of her choices. Discernment allows her to see beyond the surface, to read between the lines, and to make choices that are aligned with her deeper values and goals. Part of this discernment also involves knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. The rarest woman understands that words carry weight, and she does not speak hastily or out of frustration. Instead, she chooses her words carefully, considering their impact on others and the situation at hand. She recognizes that wisdom is often expressed through actions rather than words, and that sometimes the most powerful thing she can do is listen or remain quiet. Her words are thoughtful and intentional, and she uses them to uplift, clarify, or encourage, rather than to manipulate, dominate, or belittle. Another critical aspect of nurturing wisdom is the willingness to question assumptions and challenge conventional thinking. The rarest woman is not content to accept the status quo simply because it is familiar or widely accepted. She questions what others take for granted, and she seeks to understand the deeper truths that lie beneath surface-level appearances. She is not afraid to challenge societal norms, deeply ingrained beliefs, or her own biases. In doing so, she creates space for new perspectives and new ideas to emerge. This willingness to question and challenge is a key component of wisdom, because it allows her to grow, adapt, and move beyond the limitations of old thinking. Nurturing wisdom involves a commitment to continuous learning. The rarest woman does not assume that she has all the answers or that she has reached the pinnacle of wisdom. She remains humble in her pursuit of knowledge, always seeking to learn from others, from life experiences, and from the world around her. She understands that wisdom is not a static state, but a dynamic process, one that requires ongoing reflection, openness, and growth. Empathy and compassion are two of the most powerful qualities a person can possess, and they are essential to the rarest woman in the world. These qualities enable her to connect with others on a profound level, offering a sense of understanding, kindness, and support that transcends mere sympathy. While empathy and compassion are often used interchangeably, they are distinct in their depth and application. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, while compassion goes a step further, involving not only understanding but a desire to alleviate the suffering of others. The rarest woman embodies both, allowing her to navigate relationships and challenges with an open heart and a strong desire to uplift those around her. Empathy begins with the ability to listen not just with the ears but with the heart and mind. The rarest woman understands that to truly connect with another person, she must be willing to listen without judgment or interruption. In a world where people often feel unheard or misunderstood, the rarest woman provides a space for others to express themselves freely. She listens attentively, creating a safe environment where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and emotions. This kind of listening is not passive, it is active and engaged. She seeks to understand the deeper layers of another person's experience, not just the surface-level details, but the emotions and motivations that drive their actions and responses. Requires a profound sensitivity to the emotions of others. The rarest woman is able to intuitively sense when someone is in pain, confused, or struggling, even when those emotions are not explicitly expressed. She is able to tune into the unspoken words, the subtle body language, and the emotional energy that others radiate. This sensitivity allows her to offer comfort and support even in situations where words might not be sufficient. She understands that sometimes empathy is communicated not through conversation but through a touch, a look, or a gesture that reassures the other person that they are not alone. Her presence alone can provide a sense of solace and understanding, as she has cultivated the ability to connect with others on an emotional level that is both authentic and deeply comforting. Yet empathy is not just about understanding the pain and struggles of others, it is also about celebrating their joys and triumphs. The rarest woman is able to share in the happiness of others, to genuinely feel their joy as if it were her own. She does not feel threatened by the successes or achievements of others. Instead, she feels inspired by them, recognizing that their joy is a reflection of the richness of the human experience. Empathy allows her to celebrate the victories of others with an open heart, free from jealousy or competition. This ability to be genuinely happy for others creates a sense of unity and connectedness, fostering an environment where people can thrive without fear of being judged or diminished. Compassion takes empathy to the next level. While empathy involves understanding and sharing in the feelings of another, compassion involves taking action to alleviate suffering or improve the well-being of others. The rarest woman does not simply feel for others, she acts to help, support, and heal. She is driven by a desire to make the world a better place, not just for herself, but for everyone around her. Her compassion is not limited to those she knows intimately, but extends to all beings, regardless of their background, circumstances, or history. It is not contingent on whether someone is deserving of kindness or whether they can offer anything in return. Her compassion flows freely, without expectation or condition. Compassion involves both understanding and action. The rarest woman does not simply offer words of comfort, she offers tangible help, whether it is through providing a listening ear, offering practical assistance, or advocating for the needs of others. She recognizes that true compassion requires not just empathy, but the willingness to step into the shoes of others and act in ways that can bring about real change. This might involve offering her time, her resources, or her energy to help someone in need. She is not afraid to get her hands dirty or to make sacrifices for the benefit of others. Her actions speak louder than words as she consistently demonstrates her commitment to alleviating suffering wherever she finds it. The rarest woman's compassion is not limited to human beings alone. She extends this deep sense of caring to the environment, to animals, and to the world at large. She understands that the well-being of all living beings is interconnected, and she works to nurture and protect the world around her. Whether it's through environmental activism, animal rights advocacy, or simply practicing kindness and respect for nature, she demonstrates a holistic approach to compassion that acknowledges the interdependence of all life. Her compassion extends beyond human relationships and is rooted in a broader understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings. Another important aspect of compassion is forgiveness. The rarest woman understands that true compassion involves letting go of resentment and anger, even when others have hurt her. She does not allow past wrongs to define her relationships or her view of the world. Instead, she embraces forgiveness as a path to healing, both for herself and for others. She knows that holding on to grudges only serves to perpetuate suffering, and that forgiveness is an act of liberation, not just for the person being forgiven, but for the one offering forgiveness. Compassion allows her to release the weight of anger and bitterness, allowing her to move forward with an open heart and a clear mind. Compassion also involves self-compassion, the ability to be kind, gentle, and understanding with oneself. The rarest woman knows that in order to offer compassion to others, she must first be able to offer it to herself. She does not judge herself harshly or expect perfection. Instead, she treats herself with the same kindness and understanding that she offers to those she loves. She recognizes that she is worthy of love, care, and compassion, regardless of her flaws or mistakes. This self-compassion allows her to remain resilient in the face of adversity, knowing that she is capable of learning, growing, and healing just as she helps others do the same. Empathy and compassion are about connection. They are about recognizing the shared humanity that exists within all people, regardless of differences. The rarest woman understands that at the heart of every person is the same longing for love, belonging, and understanding. Her empathy allows her to see beyond surface-level differences, to look into the heart of others and recognize the common struggles, joys, and desires that unite them. Her compassion extends that recognition into action, ensuring that everyone she encounters feels seen, heard, and valued. In conclusion, the rarest woman in the world is not defined by her external achievements or societal accolades, but by her inner strength, authenticity, and unwavering commitment to her values. She embodies independence, wisdom, empathy, and compassion, navigating life with a deep sense of purpose and a relentless drive to make the world a better place. Her courage to stand alone, her ability to nurture wisdom, and her compassion for others create a profound impact, inspiring those around her to rise to their own potential. The rarest woman is someone who embraces vulnerability, learns from failure, and holds steadfast to her truth. Regardless of the challenges she faces, she does not seek validation from others, but remains grounded in her own integrity and belief in the greater good. Through her actions, she exemplifies what it means to live authentically, with purpose and compassion, leaving a legacy that touches the hearts and minds of all who encounter her.